What's up, guys? It's Lord Botha here with another video, and we have massive news from the YouTube entertainment space. Mr. Beast has had a lawsuit filed against him, a class action lawsuit by former contestants of his new Amazon show that is yet to premiere. This is just one of many social media posts. Everybody's posting about it. Every big page is posting about it that covers entertainment and these kinds of things. This comes from Discussing Film. Mr. Beast and Amazon are being sued by contestants on his upcoming Beast Game Series for failure to prevent sexual harassment, failure to pay overtime and minimum wage, no meal and rest breaks provided to participants. And he's actually accused of a whole lot more than that. We'll actually go into the document and take a look at those accusations. He's actually accused of, I think, 14 different charges in this lawsuit. The quote here: several contestants ended up hospitalized, others reported suffering physical and mental complications while being subjected to chronic mistreatment, degradation, and female contestants in a hostile working condition. Here is the actual legal document. He is being sued in the court of California, and you can see the multiple things that he is being charged with under this lawsuit. Failure to pay minimum wages, liquidated damages for failure to pay minimum wages, failure to pay overtime, sexual harassment, failure to prevent sexual harassment, neglect, infliction of emotional distress, failure to provide uninterrupted meal breaks, failure to provide uninterrupted rest breaks, failure to pay minimum wages promptly upon termination, failure to provide accurate and itemized wage statements, failure to indemnify for employee expenses and losses in discharging duties, unfair business practices, false advertising, and declaratory relief. And yes, we know that the things that stand out here is definitely the sexual harassment stuff. We know specifically that there was a contestant in these Beast Games that was a close personal friend to Jake Paul and also familiar with Mr. Beast. And that friend also was a known pimp. Yes, he pled guilty for pimping. And he was also thrown out of the competition for complaints of sexual harassment. The other thing that stands out here is all the neglect and the interruptions of meal breaks and not letting them sleep. Basically, Mr. Beast is alleged to have controlled every single aspect of these people's lives. He controlled when and where they slept. He controlled where and what they ate, when they ate. There's even allegations that he gave them a measly portion of food every day, so they were malnourished. There's reports in this document that he made them wear Mr. Beast t-shirts with trash bags over them in the hot Nevada sun. Basically, all these allegations amount to he didn't do the proper diligence that shows even like Survivor do when it comes to taking care of their contestants. It's even believed that he controlled the amount of hygiene products people got, including women's tampons. But the big thing here, I think, is the money charges. And these civil lawsuit charges, especially when we get into some of the way they labeled contestants, may actually find Mr. Beast in actual legal trouble in the criminal courts. Specifically this here on page 19 of the document. Here on 19, the plaintiffs described the defendant, Mr. Beast, misclassified the contestants to avoid their employment obligations under California law and wrongfully receive unearned tax credits from Nevada. The plaintiffs are essentially accusing Mr. Beast of committing federal tax fraud. The defendants assert here that reasonably assuming a significant number of the contestants were non-Nevadan residents, defendants would likely not meet the requirement that the percentage of Nevada to total qualified expenditures exceeds 60%. What does this mean? It means that to qualify for tax credits in Nevada, Mr. Beast and his company had to basically get a certain number of contestants or employees from Nevada. However, they didn't get that. They didn't meet that 60% threshold. Instead, they bust in a whole bunch of Californians. They then misclassified the contestants. I don't know what they misclassified them as. It's blacked out. But they misclassified those Californian contestants to avoid the wage obligations in California because California has a higher minimum wage than Nevada, and potentially also pass them off as Nevadans so they could wrongfully get those tax credits from Nevada. This is also a massive allegation. Moreover, defendants later required the contestants to complete blank, suggesting they intend to write off contestants' wages as expenses in an attempt to have their cake and eat it too. This is highly illegal and straight up fraud. You cannot pay people a wage, whether they're contestants in a game show or not, and then try to write off their wages as a tax credit. It's just simply something that is not allowed in business. And yes, while the sexual harassment charges and the care and condition of contestant charges are the big eye-popping things, right? Especially when we consider Mr. Beast's politics, when we consider his sociological beliefs, and the controversy surrounding Chris Ava Tyson. They used to work Mr. Beast. You probably all know what I'm talking about. And many of the alleged treatment of employee stories that also came out of that story. Yeah, that's the stuff that's going to be more of a broad focus for the greater media. But this stuff that I just went over here, this is the actual stuff that might end up being criminal. This is the actual stuff that he's found guilty of in a civil trial. The government could come looking after him and be like, hey buddy, where's our tax money? We think you owe us some tax money. How about you fork over some receipts? Either way, I think Jimmy is in a world of trouble. And if I was his lawyer, I'd argue for him to settle and settle fast. Then I'd tell him to shut up and just go away. Do not make videos. Just hide. Don't do anything. Just let the storm pass. But then again, Mr. Beast has a multi-million-dollar company, and he has what some might say a love of attention. So I highly doubt that he would stay away from the limelight, even at the advice of his lawyers. But that's just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you listening this long, and we'll talk to you again later.